The west, right?
45 miles an hour with water temperatures in the 60s and 70s.
It's the Move 'em Out giant clearance sale.
Your tropical update, and we have seen a bit of increase in activity in the Pacific. The tropical wave here, and there we go. And you can detect some of the rotation with this, but nothing real organized. But again, it has a long way to go, and it is in an area that is favorable for formation. We do have high pressure in the upper levels, and so that's one wave that we will watch. We do have a new tropical storm, Jimena. And now we do have winds, maximum sustained winds at 40 miles an hour with movement to the west-northwest at 7 miles an hour. And we'll put this into motion, and you can see it right here. And we have been seeing a little bit more organization with this, and it is forecast to intensify over the next 24 to 48 hours, possibly increasing to maximum sustained winds of about 60 miles an hour as the movement continues to the west-northwest. So we will now be watching Tropical Storm Jimena. It was a tropical depression earlier.
Coast. Tropical Storm Jimena is the name. You don't pronounce it Jimena. 12.1 north, 136.0 west. It's about 1,370 miles southeast of Hilo, so it's well away from the island. Winds are at 65, and it's moving west-northwest at 7 miles an hour. Here's a look at the infrared imagery, and I'll tell you, some of these images of late have showed a tremendous strengthening from 65 miles an hour. I mean, there's an eye developing right there. So we may very well have a Hurricane Jimena. And to check on that for you, here's the visible satellite imagery of Jimena, and we actually do have an eye. So this is more than likely a hurricane, and will be upgraded, I'm sure, by the Hurricane Center from the next observation. They're talking about some shear coming into play here over the next couple of days. You can kind of see how the jet's diving. Here's the Hawaiian Islands diving to the south and then coming on back northward. But for now, Jimena is forecast to continue on its west-northwest track and continue to slowly strengthen. But if it attacks or heads at Hawaii in a due northwest fashion, you know that it does run into some cooler waters here, as we saw Guillermo do when it was a bona fide Cat 5. You really have to get something to come underneath and then back around, like Yaniki did back in '95, to get a real hit in Hawaii. So right now, this isn't too much of a concern.
This is different story in the Pacific. Hurricane Jimena, 12.5 north, 135.7 west, centering this hurricane at 1,380 miles east-southeast of Hilo. Look at these winds, up to 115 miles an hour now. This thing went from a depression to a hurricane to a Category 3 hurricane very, very quickly. But it is moving north, and that's some good news. The Hawaiian Islands, the Big Island about right here. So it is moving, for the time being anyway, away from the Hawaiian Islands. Eventually, that's going to take this hurricane into colder waters, but wow, that is one well-organized hurricane. It almost appears to be closing in on itself here, getting smaller and more compact. Big outflow here. There is a nice outflow, high pressure aloft. That hurricane looks about as healthy as you're going to see one. That developed in a big hurry. That eye is firmly embedded in the central dense overcast. Could even get a bit stronger here in the next